Welcome to Muslim Apologetics Australia. In this video, we're going to refute and respond to Neil Mitchell about equating the term Islam with extremism or equating the term Islam with terrorism, as you often see. Now, the media is actually going out and saying Islam terrorism or Islamic terrorism has striked here, or Islamic terrorism has killed this person, or Islamic terrorism has caused that atrocity in Burke Street. So we're going to refute the claim of apparently it's according to the Islamophobes and the Western critics that they could coin and join and link the term Islam with terrorism now in the headlines. So a Muslim brother came on to refute Neil Mitchell on this, and we'll listen to it. It's only about 40 seconds long or something like that. And then what I'll do is I'll interject and respond and clear up the misconception further and rebut Neil Mitchell. Let's have a listen. So what Neil Mitchell has misconstrued is that he conflated the term Christianity with the term Islam. It is totally different, and I'll explain why. The term Christianity means a follower of Christ. The term Islam doesn't mean a follower of Islam. A follower of Islam is a Muslim. Islam is the body, it's the religion. And Islam is not a person, it's not an individual, it's Allah's religion. So it's got nothing to do with the person and the individual. So when Neil Mitchell says, oh, well, we can call um, something Christian terrorism, or a person, let's say a Christian commits the act of terrorism, we can call that terrorist Christianity or Christian terrorism. And he tries to say, well, we could do that the same for Islam. No, you can't. Yes, I agree. You could say that a Muslim terrorist has committed the crime. I mean, you can coin the term Muslim and terrorist together. You can join them together. And although being a Muslim means a submitter to God, of course, you can still say he's a Muslim terrorist, meaning that is like a gay Muslim, like he's committed a sin. What the sin that he's done is sinful. So you can say, a Muslim terrorist. I could accept that. That although it still may be contradictory because a Muslim means someone who submits to God, but I don't really have a problem with that because we can understand that a Muslim can commit a sin, and if you want to say he's committed terrorism, Muslim terrorist, then fine, okay, I could accept that. But then to go to the extreme and coin it with Islam and say, now we're going to call Islamic terrorism or Islam terrorism, that's going beyond the means. Because again, Islam uh, is not the same as Christianity. Islam is a body. Christianity, or one who is a Christian, is a follower of Christianity. He's a follower of the Bible. He's a Christian. Christianity derives from the term Christians. So being a Christian is being a follower of Christ. I mean, if someone wants to say, when you want to say something like um, Islamic terrorism, that's basically like saying biblical terrorism. I mean, no Christian's going to accept that because they believe that the Bible does not endorse terrorism. Similarly, Muslims do not believe that the Quran endorses terrorism. This is why we should not tarnish and include the term Islam in it. Even if you think that, hey, you're not really misrepresenting Islam, you're just misrepresenting a different interpretation of Islam and saying, look, there are certain ISIS individuals or extremists who say that that the Quran does give them legitimacy to spread that type of bloodshed. Well, even for that argument, we're not going to accept it because that just legitimizes it. That tells us there are different versions of Islam. I mean, the Islamophobes want to make it sound like, hey, look, it's just, it's just different versions, as in different opinions. I mean, that's like saying, a person could turn around and say, well, your opinion's against theirs. The Islamic critics, Islamophobes are very clever. They're trying to make it like different opinions, and all opinions are valid, right? And this is what they're trying to do, right? Because they can't say Islamic terrorism and that's the only opinion. They're saying, oh well, that's fine. We understand that there's moderate Islam, and there's a good interpretation of the Quran. But you know what? There's also an evil, a barbaric interpretation of the Quran, and both are valid. They're just different opinions. No, it doesn't work that way. According to mainstream Islam, it has never, radical Islam or Islamic terrorism, it has never been an opinion, a legitimate opinion amongst the majority of the scholars at all, amongst all of the contemporary scholars and classical scholars. Terrorism is forbidden in Islam, in the Quran. So we don't sit there and saying, oh, look, this opinion is valid. It's just part of another opinion. No, we're not going to let critics of Islam try and force that to be just as simple as a difference of opinion. It's not a difference of opinion. If a Muslim commits homosexuality, we're not going to call it gay Islam now, are we? So we're going to say he's a gay Muslim. We're not obviously a gay ignorant Muslim or a gay deviant Muslim, but we're not going to turn around and say gay Islam now, are we? So why are we now turning around and saying Islam terrorism or terrorism Islam? If a white supremacist committed the act of terrorism, just imagine I say American terrorism. I don't think any American is going to like that. Or if an Australian racist Islamophobe committed the act of terrorism and I call it Australian terrorism, I mean, you're not going to like that, are you? You're going to say, well, why are you including Australia into this? I mean, Australia is separate. That person is separate. You'd be offended. You'd say, stop putting the word American. The term America represents peace and tranquility, and it represents democracy and dignity. Why is coining it American terrorism? This is how people object. So why is it now different when it comes to Islam? And imagine I turned around and said, oh, but wait, there's different versions of America. You have different American extremists and so forth. You'd say, well, no, as true Americans, we don't believe, according to our Constitution, we don't believe in terrorism. So please don't equate the term America with terrorism. I mean, this is what you'd say, wouldn't you? And for those Islamophobes that want to say, oh, look, the Quran teaches terrorism, blah, 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 blah. Visit the link below. You'll see every single verse that the critics of Islam have misinterpreted and misrepresented have been debunked and refuted. Just follow the link below. Have a good day.